Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Hi guys.
There she is.
Can you hear me okay?
You're coming in and out. I think
Yeah.
your screen's frozen too.
Okay.
Yeah, your screen's definitely frozen. Your Zoom is not running on all cylinders. Pun intended.
Oh boy. Yeah, we're having a lot of storms here. Okay, hold on. Let me log off.
Are you looking for comprehensive solutions
try
for your
my
performance and
best.
automotive needs? Straight Line Performance and Automotive is a full-service auto repair shop specializing in race car fabrication, electrical design, chassis setup and alignment. Located in Hamden, Connecticut, they also specialize in aftermarket high performance and chassis upgrades. Be sure to look them up on Facebook at www.facebook.com/straightline STR8LINE Performance & Automotive, or give them a call at 203-415-5316. Welcome, racers and fans, to the Racers News Network Live, presented by Straight Line Performance and Automotive and Scotty Wheels Racing. Your hosts, Chris and Pete, bring you the latest news and interviews in the world of sportsman drag racing, including bracket racing, association races, outlaw, and no-time events. We are live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take it away, boys.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Racers News Network Live. We are very happy to have as our guest tonight. She'll be joining us in about 15 minutes. She's known as the storyteller. I'm talking, of course, about Kelly Wade. She has a new book out about the man, the professor. Of course, I'm talking about Warren Johnson. We're going to be talking about that and everything else that's going on in the world of drag racing. I know she's out in Indianapolis right now. They're having a little bit of a thunderstorm issue, but she's going to be joining us. With us, as always, of course, on my left, Pete Sanka, the man, the myth, the legend, the school teacher, I should say.
No. WJ is the original professor right there. I got nothing on him.
We go right here, right there.
That's
and then,
it.
of course, the flying airbrush, who just released pictures today of his newest car that he's been working on.
Hi, everybody. What's up, substitute? Since you're not the professor.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm the apprentice. And Jerron, that car is just unbelievable.
Appreciate it.
That thing looks really good. I'd love to give you a hard time about it and make fun of some, but there's nothing to make fun of there, my man.
That car, I realistically set out to hurt feelings with it. That was our mission. He said, I want to make people mad and jealous and hurt feelings. And
so the funny thing was when in your comment you said, no, that's not Mosier Red. I was looking at that. I'm like, man, it looks a little bit like Straight Line Red. I can't lie.
What color is your car?
Well, it's Lexus red.
That's
and
right.
Then House of Colors Candy Brandy Wine.
You would think since I kind of painted it, I would know, but I don't remember what I did this morning. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, no, it's very different from the Mosier cars.
It's nice. It came out beautiful. Good job.
Most definitely did. So, of course, we also have a bunch of results to get to. We have Maple Grove's divisional race, the divisional race at Bowling Green, and also there was a Nessa race at Lebanon Valley this weekend. So, Pete, why don't we kick it off with the .90 at Maple Grove?
All right, let's do it. So, all three categories were contested for the .90s. In Super Comp 890, Walter Alt defeated Kevin Scholl. Super Gas 990, Brenda Hunter picks up the win over Michael Hondras. And in Super Street, Taylor Iacona beats the always heavy-hitting Keith Mayers. Taylor had a 005 light and ran a 91 with a 3 to defeat Keith, and On a little side note, Taylor's aunt won in Top Alcohol Dragster. So they got to share the winner's circle together, and that's pretty damn cool.
Absolutely. And it was funny when we had the live show that we did over the summer at Lebanon Valley, we actually got had a cool conversation going between Taylor and Keith because they were neck and neck for the championship last year.
That is correct. Yep.
It
Yeah,
was fun to kind of watch her
She's,
take on
you know,
Keith.
it's funny when you race the class for a long time, and you see people just come into the class and you watch them grow, especially when they're young and they're a really good ambassador for the sport. It's fun to watch them develop and prosper. And I got to tell you, she's definitely given the category a great name. That's for sure.
Yeah, she's been on a tear the last 2 years. I mean,
Yep.
I think 3 or 4 wins just last year alone, doubled up at New England, I believe it was. Yeah, she's she did a great job on her attention to pits with Joe Costello earlier this year too. So
Yes.
she's a great.
Yeah,
amateur.
that was a good piece. Absolutely.
And the cool thing is for her, or bad for guys like Pete that race Super Street, she doesn't have any plans of switching. She wants
No,
to stay.
unfortunately, I'm probably going to be stuck racing her for many years to come. So
All
what do
right,
you got
so-
from Maple Grove, Chris?
I have from Maple Grove, as you just said, Top Alcohol Dragster, Jackie Frick over Dan Dietrich. Dietrich had the starting line advantage, but went up in smoke. Frick was straight down the groove, took the win. This is Jackie's 11th Wally and second this season. She's also in the final round from the last weekend at New England Dragway, the rain delayed event. I still haven't heard anything from Dave Moan at the Division I office. I did email him and he said he wasn't 100% sure yet, but they are working on dates for the classes at New England that did not get finished up.
Gotcha.
Top Alcohol Funny Car. Dan Pomponio takes the win over Brian Golick, a guest that we had on a few weeks ago. They both had the identical reaction time, and I think they actually both had the same exact 60-foot.
Wow.
But Pomponio took the win. 12th Lucas Wally altogether, second so far this season. Super Stock. George Taylor gets the win over Joe Santangelo, who went 2,000 red. George got his first Wally and in his second final round.
That was his first Super Bowl Wally.
Yep. Todd Hoven over Russell Linke in Stock Eliminator. Todd Hoven wins his 6th Wally. And if I remember correctly, by looking at the picture, he represented for the classic muscle car Mopar guys. So you're gonna get that. And Comp Eliminator. Todd Logan takes the win over Wes Leopold. Logan with the starting line advantage and the win. Logan wins his first Wally. And after being runner-up last weekend at New England, they were one of the very few classes that did actually get to run their final round. Robert Fortuna in the beautiful Chevy S10 pickup takes the Wally over David Mueller.
God, he's been on a tear this year. Good Lord.
Yep, this is Robert's second. Both of them have been this year as well.
Yeah, and he also won the National Open Intermediate and doubled up that weekend.
Fortuna ran dead on with a 2 for the win. Top Dragster, Joe DePasquale takes it home after defeating Brandon Miller. DePasquale had a 003 light, runs dead on with a 687 for the win for his 5th Lucas Drag Racing Series Wally. Moving on to Bowling Green, Pete.
Okay. Why don't you start, Chris, and then I'll join in when you're done.
All right. So the ladies are actually kicking some serious butt in the Top Alcohol Dragster class. We had 2 of the ladies up against each other this weekend at Bowling Green. Julia Natas brings it home against Jasmine Salinas. Natas had the starting line advantage and the power to hold on for the whole shot win. She gets her 8th Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally and her 4th this season.
That was
Top
probably
alcohol.
the closest alcohol dragster race in all time. It was 13/10 out at the finish line.
Wow.
between the two. And that was a very stout field. No blown cars there, all injected cars, which is kind of odd. But I think the blown cars were getting ready for Indy.
All right. Top alcohol funny car. Ray Drew over Chris Foster. Drew with the starting line advantage in the win. He wins his 10th Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally. Super stock. Stephen Belanger over Mike Crutchfield. Crutchfield goes red to give Belanger the win. And this is Belanger's first Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally in his first final round as well. So double kudos for that. Stock eliminator. This one is going to be kind of funny because I have the quote from Bo. On Drag Race Central, they had it listed that Randy Chip won her first ever Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally against Marissa Hammond. A little while later, Mr. Bo Butner put up Randy Lynn won stock eliminator at the divisional level. We know. How is that even possible with question marks after it, multiple question marks and exclamation point? This was her second division win in her third final round. She also won Super Street at Norwalk back in 2010 and runner-up in that class as well in 2007. So congratulations to Randy Lynn.
So the first post wasn't even close to being right.
Negative
Well,
Ghost Rider.
I think, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I just want to say something about that. Those guys at Drag Race Central, they're working off of long compiled stats, and they're doing like really quick searching and things like that, populate and give us some good information. Well, I happened to be at the same scorecard that they were. And when I searched Randy Lynn, I saw there was a spelling error on her name. It's just like human erroring. There's a spelling error on her name for her first Super Street win, which was in 2010 at Norwalk. And it was just a simple, he did a search and it returned like, oh my God, this is her first win, except it wasn't. So, I mean, it was incorrect, but it wasn't astoundingly like, oh my God. But
right.
And it is really absurd that she hasn't won a divisional before in the cool 67 Pontiac Firebird. So anyway, I just wanted to interject. I'm sorry, continue.
Oh, you
that's fine.
believe me.
Just, we weren't bagging on Drag Race Central at all. It was just kind of funny. Because like I said, I saw it, and then about, I don't know, an hour or so later, Bo had put that information up. I was like, all right. So, because when I posted it on our Facebook page, I said, I'm not 100% sure that this is correct. And then, of course, we ended up getting the correct information. So,
yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So, let's see. Comp eliminator, David Billingsley over Mike Farrell. Farrell with the starting line advantage, held on for the win and takes its 17th Wally. Top sportsman, Dave O'Neill over Bad Eye Brininger. Hopefully I didn't completely.
Don O'Neill.
Sorry?
Did you say top drag or top sportsman, Chris?
Top sportsman.
Yeah, that's Don O'Neill won that race.
Yep. No, I know. It took the win over Bad Eye
Brininger.
Okay. That's what I hoped it was. Sitting here going, oh boy, not another one of these. Brininger had the starting line. Brininger had the starting line advantage, but took too much stripe to give O'Neill the win. O'Neill gets his second Wally. Top dragster.
Hang on, Chris. We can't just skip over Don like that.
Okay.
That was a very special win for him because this is first after his wife passed earlier this year, or just a few weeks ago, actually. So, and Don was, just he's living on cloud nine right now for that win. But that was special. I mean, he's only run a couple times since Diane passed, and it was just great to see him get a win. He was driving good all day too. I mean, lights were consistent. And that car, he's finally figured that car out. And that car is the truth. He's gonna get a ton more wins this year too.
Good stuff.
Top dragster, Tommy Mattingly takes the win over Philip Dion. Mattingly with the starting line advantage and holds on to take his 6th Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally. And that is that.
All right, and I'm gonna very quickly do the .90s from Bowling Green because I am very excited about our guest and can't wait to talk to her.
I am too, but Phil, I gotta correct you. It was Phil Dion. He's a D7 racer. That's why I gotta get that in there. You said Phil Dion.
You feel better about yourself? You good?
I do feel better.
Okay, good.
That's a tomato.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, .90 Super Comp. In Bowling Green, we have Devin Eisenhower taking the win over Carl Watts. Super Gas, a name that some people might recognize. Edmund Richardson captures his 50th divisional Wally, defeating Jonathan Anderson. And in Super Street, Lewis Murray defeats Bruce Bernstein. I'm not going to pronounce it Bernstein. It's Bernstein. Am I right, Gerard?
Yes, sir.
Did I do good? See? I always get your name right too, just so you know.
I'm proud of that. Yeah, you do.
I mean, obviously, in that group that I just called out, Edmund Richardson, what could you say? 50 divisional Wallies. I believe he has in excess of 30 plus national Wallies. I guess the most impressive part was what you told me earlier, Jaron. Go ahead.
That was a brand new car he brought out this race. I think he tested a little bit for that, but to come out, I mean, it's Edmund. He was voted in a top 50 NHRA greatest drivers. I think one of the only sportsman drivers that was in that, other than like alcohol classes like Frank Manzo, things like that. But Edmund's just a legend, and he's kind of stepped away from NHRA stuff a little bit and did some bracket racing, but came right back in first race win. So I'm not sure if he's entered at Indy or not, but if he is, Super Gas Field better look out at Indy.
Good stuff. Now, just so you know, we have the results from the double Super Street race at Lebanon Valley that we'll be doing after we're done with Kelly, not to keep her waiting. And I raced at Lebanon Valley, so it can't be anything too exciting. So we'll take care of our guests first.
Hi, Kelly. How are you? We could have talked to you.
All right, Kelly. Only thing I need you to do is just unmute bottom left corner. Perfect. Thank you.
Got it.
Awesome. All right. So our guest for this evening, known as the Storyteller. She wrote a book about the professor, and also had a chance to. You did a post today about 50 years for him at Indy, correct?
Yeah, Warren Johnson made his pro stock debut in NHRA at the U.S. Nationals in 1971. So, I mean, this year, it seems weird that no one has spoken about it yet. But yeah, this is his 50th anniversary of, entering pro stock for NHRA. And on the back of that photo, I had a photo that I posted as the feature photo on that story that I put up at winlightnews.com. And on the back of that photo, Arlene Johnson, his wife, had penciled in the date, and the date was September 2nd, 1971. So it's legit. Like, we're actually at the 50-year mark in just a few days. So it's really cool.
That's awesome. Now, Pete has the book. He said he hasn't gotten a chance to read it yet, but obviously, let's start it off. What was it like meeting up with the professor, Warren Johnson, and getting the information overload put together to do a book like that?
Yeah, you're not joking when you say information overload. I mean, this man has an extraordinary career. So I have to admit, I did know him before because I started in drag racing as a reporter for National Dragster in 2007. And I covered the beat of pro stock along with John Jaduda, who is just this phenomenal human who has been part of pro stock. He actually raced Super Gas back in the day. And he's just such a great human. And he shared the beat with me. So I got to meet Warren Johnson as I covered the sport for National Dragster back then. And I only covered it for 2.5 years before, we went down a different path. But during that time, I got to meet WJ, and form at least a working relationship with him. I mean, I certainly wouldn't have said that we were friends or buddies or anything like that. You know, very professional. You know, we only had professional interactions. So although he did always make me laugh every time I saw him, he had a joke. Usually ones that I would never be able to repeat, but it's okay. So he's a funny guy, but he's all serious when it's time to go. So I did have a little bit of a background. I knew what he was like, and I'm obsessed with the history of this sport. So I knew a lot about the history already. Didn't know half of what I was gonna know come to the end of this deal. But so it was really it was intimidating. I'm not gonna lie. He's Warren Johnson. You know, I mean, he has more pro stock wins. Pro stock is the class. Pro stock and class racing is just like that's it. And he has the most and is the best. And you know, so there's a lot of pressure going into it. But he and his wife Arlene were incredibly gracious. They brought me, you know, into the shop, into their homes, and into their lives. And he let me dig away at any story I wanted to. Now, I will say that there is a lot of stuff in the book that we touched on, but it's not going to be like gross bad stories that makes things, you know, look, you know, super dramatic. And I think a lot of people like that. A lot of people are really wanting to hear like the negative stuff that or the rumors or like things that weren't necessarily true. We touched on everything. Like I can't think of anything that nothing has come up where I've said like, gosh, I wish we would have talked about this. We talked about everything over a year. We talked about everything for this book. So it was really intensive and it's really thorough. And I'm super proud of that. And it's really accurate. So I don't even remember what the question was. I just got really excited and went off on a tangent. So bring me back.
That's okay. You kind of touched on my next question was that, you know, the dude's intense, you know, especially obviously when it comes to his race cars and racing, you know, he's as serious as the day is long. Did you kind of go, oh boy, what have I got myself into? I mean, I know it's going to be an awesome experience, but did you also go, am I going to walk out of there crying every night?
No, I did not ever feel that because I really felt confident that I was the right person to write the book just because of how much I love it. So, and I knew what his temperament is. So because I was prepared, I really feel like there wasn't that fear factor of, oh my gosh, am I going to be in tears? I've had tears for talking to different racers before, and you'd be surprised over the ones that it ends up being. But it wasn't Warren Johnson. It was actually a really positive experience all the way around.
I gotta interject because I know she's gonna want to know this if she goes back and watches this. Your screen keeps freezing, and it catches you on the funniest poses. So I don't know if you want to try.
Okay. Can you hear me okay though? Can you hear me? Is the audio okay? Okay, good. Because I will say that I have
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have very rarely had a photo taken of me that I have thought like, oh, that's a great photo, because I characteristically come off with like all kinds of you know, the faces are just ridiculous. So it doesn't hurt my feelings. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah, I just didn't want you to look back on it and be like, why didn't they say I look like that? Because Pete.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay.
I've personally never liked a photo taken of me, and being on Zoom, it confirms, because like Duran says, whenever the screen freezes, it's like,
yeah,
it's like the stupidest pose in the world.
It's terrible, but you know what? This is the life we're living.
That's right. Yeah,
and
the new normal, right?
I can confirm I've never liked a photo
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Oh, poor Pete.
So Kelly, I gotta jump in here for a second because Warren Johnson,
Okay.
racing wise, has absolutely always been my hero. I can't tell you, I think
Yeah.
I went to Englishtown probably 4 to 5 years in a row with a die-cast car just to get him to sign it. And I finally, on the last attempt, got him. And I was never one of those people to say, oh, what the hell? He's never out signing autographs. I mean, I got it. I knew that he was there to work and he had a job to do. And the amount of time that he could give to autographs and stuff was limited.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I admired him so much is because of the amount of stuff he did himself for his racing program. He's definitely not a
Absolutely.
hired driver. As a matter of fact, it probably says it in the book. But I remember him saying he basically drove the car because he couldn't get the dog to drive it.
Yeah.
He just, his son drove. But he basically, driving wasn't up there on his priority list as
Yeah.
far as, as opposed to making power and making the car work and
Yeah.
designing stuff.
Absolutely.
Is that true? Did he say that with you
Yeah.
too, that it wasn't a big deal for him to drive?
Yeah, it was just a necessity for him. It wasn't anything that he ever thought, oh, I want to be a star. I don't want, it was not his MO to go out there and be, the guy who everybody adores. Like, he literally wanted to make power and see it succeed. And he did that over the course of his career. And I think people misconstrued very often, what he's actually like, because he's very businesslike. He's very serious. He's all about the race car, and he's all about, what he can get out of that race car at any given racetrack. So he comes across as gruff or rude, and he's not rude. He's just focused, period. That's it.
And I always thought that. I always thought that people mistook his intensity for attitude.
Mhm.
And I mean, me, obviously, I don't have to concentrate on anything nearly as much as he does or did. But I mean, when I'm trying to concentrate on something, it's like tunnel vision. And that's what I always felt like he was doing. Like, he had a job to do and he was going to do it. And if you're talking to him, he's not ignoring you. And it's not that he can't be bothered. He's just got tunnel vision.
Yeah, but isn't that also, I mean, in life, isn't that really one of the keys to success, is really being able to buckle down, dial in, and focus on the goal at hand. And it's not even just, in race cars. In terms of when I'm writing a story, if I have 15 tabs open on my computer and one of them's Facebook, I'm screwed. Like, I really need to close all the tabs, especially Facebook, and really just write the story. And when I do that, I get in the zone, and what I produce is something that's effective and impactful to others, rather than just like, oh, I've cobbled together these stats and like some quotes. Like, I want it to be good, and in order to do that, I have to focus. And so I think, like, that's one of the things throughout the book. We did this thing that I think is really cool. They're little pull-out quotes, and they're within every chapter. There's like 3 to 5 of them, and it's Professor says, a Warren Johnson lesson, and it's little life tidbits like that you can actually take away from what he said and apply it so many places in life and really make a difference. So I don't know, if everybody looks at it like I do, but to me, I learned so much about life through working with him over this past year or so, and I've really applied it, and I feel like I'm a better person for not just being able to write the book, but for being able to sit down and pay attention to what he's saying. So it was a really cool experience.
Very cool. Jerron, what do you got?
Oh, you put me on the spot. I had more questions about your career than the Warren Johnson book. I know you work for National Dragster and being kind of the journeyman journalist, but if for younger kids or women or little girls, boys, whatever, wanting to do what you do, get involved in that, what's something that the right path, or like not really a shortcut, because we don't want to promote easiness, but how can someone get to where you're at, or start, where do they start at as a young journalist?
Well, I think that's a weirdly controversial question. I've heard so many people give different advice on this, and I can only speak from the heart and tell you what worked and what was important to me to go down this road. And that was that early on, I figured out what I wanted, and not just what I wanted, but what resonated inside. So, I mean, you can want a lot of things, but what you really and truly care about and have a passion for, that's what you should chase. So that's what I chased. I said, oh my God, I love drag racing. I would be terrible as a drag racer. I am so wound up all the time. Like I could never get that composure to sit in that seat, sit still for that long, even though it's a few seconds, you know, and go through that process properly. So, but I knew I was a rider from about the time I was 13. And so loving drag racing and loving riding. So I already knew, I just knew. And so when you really know in your gut, and all that takes is listening and paying attention to yourself, then you can build steps slowly to go down that path. I took a weird route, you know, I dove off into public relations for about a decade, and it's not what I meant to do. But it's where there was actually, you know, financial, there was money, guys. Okay. So I knew I could write. I knew I could talk to people. I knew I loved drag racing and I wanted to like talk about it wherever and whenever I could. And so that put me, somehow I landed in that realm. And then people were like, do this and we'll give you money to keep doing it. And I was like, and it's all working. And the world of PR is really hard and it's really exhausting. And the truth is that like my heart in no way, shape or form is in getting drivers to appearances or, you know, my heart is in the writing and telling the story itself and not just the telling the story, but the getting the story. So I wonder if I'm frozen right now, what this actually looks like. Cause I'm like so into it. I'm so animated right now. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, we can see the hands are just flying all over the place.
It's terrible. I can't even chill. I'm sorry. But anyway,
That's
so
all right.
the thing is like, there's this thing that happens when you're talking to a racer in this instance, when you're talking to a racer and you connect on their story, like you get them to say what is actually their story. Like I'll go to a racer and I'll be like, hey, you know, and I'll ask generic, you know, let's get started questions. And then as they lead, their answers will lead me to the next question, which is actually like getting to the root of what their story actually is. And it doesn't have anything to do with their performance on the racetrack or anything like that. And so that to me is like, that's where the gold is when you get that connection and you get to talk to people and have that humanness and recognize, I see you. And perhaps you see me, but that's not as important to me. What's really important to me is that I freaking see you. And now I want to tell people about what I saw in a good way, because that's how I am. But you know, that to me is like the goal of the career. So like finding in your heart what you want, just to circle back to the original question, finding in your heart what you want, going after it, and just making sure you always have that resonation, that it resonates. So to me, it's that connection. As long as I feel that connection, I'm going to keep going down this path. And if I don't get that connection anymore, guess what? I'm going to reevaluate what I'm doing and put myself in the place where I need to be. PR for me is not a connection. I will write you a story all day and all night. I will send it to the media. We will get your story out. But if you want me to do the crazy PR on call 24 hours a day so that, you know, the media can contact me to set up interviews with you, and like, that ain't my bag, baby. That's not it. Well, so find what you want, do it, and then remain true to it.
A lot of what you said about connecting when you're talking or interviewing or whatever the case may be with somebody is a lesson that I think we've all taken away from doing this. I mean, the three of us aren't media professionals by any stretch of the imagination. You know, Pete owns his own business and he's a teacher.
Yeah, I'm a little offended at that. I thought I was right up there.
I'm appalled. I knew I was expecting to get an ESPN show tomorrow.
But it's a lot of what we've learned, and I've learned from the show that I had in the past about if you have that connection, man, you're golden. If you don't, you're just kind of you're well, Kelly, I don't know exactly how to put it, but you're just walking through the steps, I guess, is really the only way to put it.
Yeah, and you're not really helping anybody. You're really not. Like if you're not being genuine through and through the whole process, you're not doing a service to anyone.
Sure. Well,
Kelly, I have a request if you don't mind.
Okay.
I would like to suggest that the next biography you do would be with John Force. And if you could video that, that would be phenomenal.
No, you're getting my answer right now, and it is no, absolutely not no.
I can't
Too much.
imagine
I don't think
you
there's a
having a
tape recorder.
conversation. It would be epic.
I don't think there's a tape recorder that could go fast enough to catch all his words. And we all know there's no
No.
way in hell
No.
you're going to be able to write everything down that man says.
You would have to hire a court stenographer to
Yeah,
record it.
That would
really.
be shorthand and a half.
Yeah.
But Kelly,
Yeah.
one more
And
question.
just go ahead.
No, I was saying you talked about your love of drag racing. Where does that come from? Are you how did you get started liking drag racing? Because you started with NHRA in 2007. Well, that's kind of late. So where'd you
Yeah,
get
that's
involved?
actually really, really late. So when I'm gonna take you way back, get in the time machine with me. So about 3 years old, one of my very first memories, possibly my first memory, was being at Pomona. I grew up in the Los Angeles area, so my dad had taken me to Pomona, and we were walking through the pits, and a Top Fuel dragster flared up to warm up. And I about pooped myself. Didn't actually, as far as I know, but it scared the bejesus out of me. And I could not stop crying, and my dad had to leave. Like, it was not a good memory for my dad. And I certainly don't remember it as, oh, this is so much fun, I love this. But I will tell you here and now that it triggered something in my heart. And I don't know, I mean, it was just such an abrupt, like, oh, that sound, and it just goes right to your soul, and I think ever since then I'd had a weird kind of like distant attraction to it. And then in high school I got mixed up with some boys who like drag racing, and then it's like I was like, oh yeah, you guys are okay, but like, show me the cars, show me what these cars can do. And I couldn't get enough. So that's where it kind of really started. And then the interest really developed in high school. And it was not like, I was not a regular at the drag strip until 2007, because, my life had taken a different turn, and it didn't involve going to the drag races every weekend. And, sometimes we got to test and tune, and things like that, but it wasn't like I was involved with anybody who was truly a drag racer. It just kind of, I just always did it. And then once I started to be present at the drag strip and talk to the racers, I just love it. Like, I'm not kidding. Drag racing can be a person to me. I freaking love it. Like, passionately love this sport. So you guys know.
Well,
Yeah.
I admire that, because I'm the same way. I bleed it, I sleep it, I eat it, I drink it, I sweat it. Like, there's nothing else matters than drag.
Yeah.
It's sad sometimes.
Yeah.
But
it can be, but it's all in how you look at it, because you're living a happy life, right? Like, you're living your life doing this thing that you love to do. And yeah, you make sacrifices, but it's what you love.
And it's pretty cool that was Pete that scared you in that fuel car years ago when you were 3.
Yeah. That's not right.
I'm older than I look. Come on.
That's not right.
Oh, bless. Good old Pete.
Jerron remembers racing when they started with a flag, so I don't want to hear it.
Hey, I remember that. I'm older than both of them.
I helped them pay Pomona. What are you talking about?
Oh gosh.
So, Kelly, dream interview. Anyone in drag racing that you could pick, and I'm gonna have to throw in obviously besides Warren Johnson, because you already did that. Just ignore the guy. I don't know what side of your screen he's on, but ignore him. Who is your go-to? Could be anywhere from sportsman to pro, male, female, doesn't matter. Who do you pick?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Grumpy Jenkins. So I know it's impossible, but I just wish with all my heart that I could have sat down with Grumpy Jenkins and had a true conversation and picked his brain and got him to tell me stories. Like, oh, the stories that man had, Sure. Present day, I hesitate to say this because it's actually possible, but it makes me so nervous to even say it out loud. It's so dumb. But David Rampy, never in my career have I had the opportunity. Oh my God, like that makes me feel giddy, nervous to say it out loud because he's just extraordinary. I mean, the things that he's been able to accomplish and his personality on top of it, just, like just he is one cool cat, and I would love to sit down with you saying it out loud because I almost don't want it to happen because it's so scary to me. But it's down. I would love to write a book about David.
I love the answers because it really shows where you're at personally with the sport.
Sure.
Right. Like a lot of people, Erica Enders or Greg Anderson or John Force. And the fact that you said Grumpy and Rampy, that's pretty damn cool.
I can share one
thank
Grumpy
you.
Jenkins story from when I was a little kid. When I was about 9 years old, maybe 10, when they had the old Winston World Championship Series, showing my age on this one. Come to New England Dragway. Somehow he remembered who I was. I have no idea. Out of however many thousands people were there, he remembered who I was. I would every year walk over to his trailer and just stand there for hours watching him work on the car. One year, I think it was, like I said, I was about 10, so probably 79, 80, right around there. I walk over, he sees me, goes in the trailer, gets a chair out, opens it up, points, doesn't say a word, points at me, gives me the come here finger, and points at the seat. And I was
my
just
goodness.
Like, okay. So I figured, well, worst comes to worst, I misunderstood what he said, and he'll throw me out. I walked up the ramp to the trailer, sat there for hours, and just would watch them work.
Oh my gosh, you're
cool.
kidding!
Yeah.
Oh, you're so lucky. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
never said a word to me, just pointed at me, and come here. Essentially.
Yeah, that was respect. He respected what you were doing. He respected that you cared a lot about what he was doing. That's very cool.
Yep.
I would jump at the chance to hear the David Rampy interview solely because he had so much success on the sportsman level, but not a whole lot in pro stock. And I'd be interested to know what he feels about that. If he could have had a better shot, better funding, whatever. But the pro stock deal just never blossomed for him at all. And I mean, I don't think he ever won a pro stock race.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I could be wrong. I want to be wrong, but I don't think he did.
Yeah, I don't think he ever won a race. Yeah. I mean, to have the amount of wins he had in all the sports, and especially comp. I mean, super stock. He's winning everything, bracket racing. But it's almost like a sore subject, so no one will bring it up. So Kelly, you got to bring it up and see what he feels about pro stock.
I don't have a problem bringing it up if the time is right. Like, I am not a fan of reporters who jump in with the hard questions. Like, you got to work up to that stuff. That's just, it's almost rude to me to, I mean, it's not.
You're supposed to say, hey, Dave, how come you didn't win a pro stock race? That's how you do it.
No,
nice to see you, by the way.
We'll put that. No way. I would probably, honestly, I would probably faint if those words came out of my own mouth when I first got to talk to him. Like, no.
Yeah.
So you're in Indianapolis right now.
No, I'm actually in Tennessee right now.
So
I'll be leaving for Indianapolis in the morning.
Is the storm going to be by you? You're okay where you are?
The storm we are south of Nashville, about 50 miles. So we have been having some storms today, but they are supposed to get progressively a bit worse. So I'm going to leave as early as possible tomorrow and get on the road and get up there. But I think the storm will be chasing me, but I think after a little bit, I'll get out of its path. And it's not supposed to be severe like it was for our friends in Louisiana and Mississippi. So I don't think it'll be awful, but we do have right now, we have flash flood warnings, they're like, just stay alert. So it is nothing compared to the last, I think it was 2 years ago at Norwalk, trying to get to the track and all the streets were flooded. It was a disaster. It might've been 3 years. I don't know, but that was the worst, where I was like, oh my, I'm like completely trapped in farmland. The things we do to get to drag races, guys.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm certainly jealous of you going to Indy, but it's going to be a good time for sure.
So one of our
Yeah.
listeners commented that Rambo had a runner-up finish in the 1993 Sears Craftsman Nationals.
Yeah,
Very
one,
cool. Okay.
One runner-up, but he never won.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Of course, I never won
I'll
pro
put
stock
that
either,
away
so
on my list
I
for
could
when I
relate.
get to interview.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna reach out to Rampy and then bring you back on and have you do it on the show here.
Oh, there we go.
Oh my gosh, you guys, wait. I have to say something about that. I was so nervous to do this interview with you all. You cannot imagine the mess that I would be if we had David Rampy on here right now. It would be not good. So if we could just maybe not do that, that'd be great.
Oh no, I'm gonna see if he's home right now, and we're gonna bring him on.
No.
All right,
No.
Kelly, if we get him on, will you at least watch and comment in the comment section?
I would do that. Yes,
Okay.
for sure.
I will work on getting Rambo on here.
There we go.
Okay.
in the
So
future.
Kelly, heading into the U.S. Nationals, what are the hot stories besides the 50th for WJ, and what's hot?
So I am not a heavy hitting reporter gal. I like to tell the stories. So to me right now, what's hot is the All-Stars, everything having to do with the All-Stars. Darian Bosch coming up in Top Dragster or Top Sportsman, our defending event champ, who's also coming to, I believe he's racing the All-Stars. Oh my God, I might have just blipped that, but he is on his way to Indy, and he's from Louisiana. Had pre-packed his whole rig and everything to make sure that he could get up there. So hopefully he did it out. But that to me is a great story. Aaron freaking Stanfield. Aaron Stanfield entered this weekend. Please, no one steal this off. I want to write it. No, you guys write it. We should all be writing about this. This story is that Aaron Stanfield has entered in 3 classes. I don't believe anybody has ever tripled, but if anybody could do it, who do it would be Aaron Stanfield. So I don't know. He's really quite talented at what he does. And so watching him in those 3 classes is going to be really awesome. Another story sort of kind of branching off of that is Justin Lamb is racing at Indy, and he has never won Indy before. This is a multi-time champion. He's racing that super stock Copo. He's racing both Copos, but he one in stock and one in super stock. The super stock Copo is actually built by Stanfield Racing Engines. So to see Justin out there actually having a shot at winning Indy, which he surely had before, but I really feel like he could potentially have the edge because he's got this awesome collaboration going with Aaron, and they apparently they're getting along real well. To me, is like when your brains connect like that and you both know this sport so well, that's a lot of potential for awesome. So I'm going to be watching Justin Lamb this weekend as well. And Randy Lynch racing in the All-Stars for the first time. So much fun. I'm so excited for her. Bo Butner racing in comp. Oh my God, there's all kinds of cool sportsman stuff happening. But I really want us to keep an eye on all the sportsman racers who are driving up after Hurricane Ida, or, and not just the sportsman racers, Angel, I mean, like, we really need to cheer for these people who are amazing for even making this trip at all.
Sure. I'm just glad you focused on the sportsman racers and gave them some love. That's you're my hero now for that. You're my David Rampy now.
Yeah, amen to that.
There we go.
Thanks, guys.
She had the grumpy
it's just where my heart is.
Well,
Oh gosh.
Can I ask you one more question? Were you at Indy last year?
Yes, I was all 4 times.
Ooh.
You were at the U.S. Nationals. Did you watch Super Comp
I
by
was.
any chance?
You watched
I
Duran give it away?
did. But Duran, did you give it away? Is that what happened?
No, I didn't give it back, but I went 889.9 in the final.
Sir.
He was so close to being famous, Kelly.
Oh my gosh.
Kelly,
That makes my
now's the
heart
time you tell
hurt.
him, I am interviewing last year's Super Comp winner. It was almost you.
One thousandths away. Like it hasn't stopped hurting since then. Like 1 thou from winning the biggest race.
Oh my God. I'm smiling right now, but it's out of discomfort. Like it's just an uncomfortable smile. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And it was an 8-round race. So no other race is 8 rounds. So any other national event on the tour, I win in 7
Yeah.
7 win lights on. But
That really is not the coolest thing, but on the other hand, what a story. And I believe that stories that are not the win stories are the ones that have the power to move us, like in ways that a win story never can. Like that almost like what drives you? What did you do next? What did you do in the next 3 years? Like that can be such an intense motivator. So hold on to that and keep going. And if you're going to be in a race car this weekend?
I'm not going to be in any this year.
Are you going to be in a race car this weekend?
No, we decided.
So next year?
We pretty well will be at Indy. I'll be at the Vegas and Pomona national events at the end of the year.
Okay. Well, that's great, but I want you back at Indy next year. So do what you can because you need some redemption.
If it wasn't for COVID, we would have been there, but they put our double division in Phoenix the week after Indy, and it just doesn't make sense to drive all the way there and all the way back 2 days later. So that's the only reason why we're skipping.
I get it.
Kelly, he was so
Get it.
devastated over that loss, he hasn't won a round since.
That's not true. Right? That is not true.
Wait, that is true or that's not true?
No, it's not
I need
true.
that to not be true.
Gerard is actually a very good racer,
All right.
but you got to give him hell. Otherwise, he just gets too cocky.
I've never
Oh my
met Duran
gosh,
in
you
person,
guys.
but he's been the punching bag for the past 2 or 3 months. So
Yeah.
That's not great.
even the guy that
Especially
only
after
won 2
Indy.
rounds,
Come on.
only the guy, and even from the guy that's ever won 2 rounds in Street Eliminator over 2 years, that's kind of
Oh,
a little bit. So
Kelly, my claim to fame is I'm the most famous person that no one's ever heard about.
I
but
feel like we could change that. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's all those years in PR, but I feel like we can change it.
I wanted to hire you, but you said you don't do the hardcore. But,
tell it now,
Listen.
Duran, tell her about the other side of your racing life, though.
that's boring. She don't want to hear about that.
No, I want to hear.
The
I
show's
do.
about you. It's not about me.
Well, I'm turning the tables, buddy. Tell me the story.
I'm a custom painter, and I paint a lot of race cars that you've done stories about, probably. Like Dallas Glenn currently wears the helmet that I painted. I painted helmets for Erica Enders.
No way.
I paint all the Sean
Oh my
Langdon
God.
helmets. Yeah.
Stop
Of course,
it.
the most famous car of all, he painted Pete's car.
Yeah.
Or did the
painted-
airbrush on Pete's car.
You
I
know
have
what?
a lot of helmets and cars in the NHRA. A lot.
That is awesome. What is the name of your business?
Imagine that Customs.
Okay, I'll be looking. That's
Nice.
really rad.
Thank you. And I'll be looking to hire you here pretty soon.
Well, I am here if you need a story. Just don't ask me to do any of that crazy,
I could,
drag you to all the appearances and things like that.
if you want to write a book that's a bestseller at like, I don't know, 7-Eleven, I'm your guy.
We could do like a 2
right now,
package. You
but
get
I
this 12 pack
can't.
of beer and you get the book.
Exactly. Yeah. Look, you're not going to win a Pulitzer. You might win a Slurpee, but you're not going to win a Pulitzer.
Those are get to you in a
Only
different
on
way.
99-cent day. That's the only
Yeah.
time.
It'd be like the old days
man.
of
You
the
guys have
Sunoco sponsorship. You get 10 gallons of gas, you get a free Sunoco racing poster.
That's what I'm thinking. It'd be more like you buy a 6-pack of Coke and they give you a case of the books for free.
Yeah.
you guys are marketing geniuses over there. I cannot
Oh,
believe this stuff is not taken off. Seriously.
Hey, did you know that Pete is a model for
Oh, here we go.
What? What?
He's a model for step ladders. You know how you got hand models and other models? He's a
I
step
did not
ladder
know.
model. Yeah,
When you
exactly.
absolutely positively need to reach the counter, you watch
Exactly.
it, you look for a commercial with Pete Sanka.
Yep. He
This
does
is-
rope ladders and step ladders, and all that kind of stuff. Step stools.
Oh,
I got
I'm
beaten
making
up a lot
notes.
this
This is-
weekend, and it's continuing. Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
oh, guys.
You said I had one around since Indy last year.
You did.
You're
Even
even
losing in
now.
the
It's
final,
all
you won
even.
more rounds than I did all year.
So, Kelly, are you going to be making the journey back to Indianapolis in December if the world doesn't shut down again for
PRI.
PRI? For PRI?
I have not yet decided. It is quite likely, but I have not for sure locked down going to PRI this year.
Cool. You may have these 3 jamokes following you around at PRI then.
She'll be writing my book then.
If I go, I will be taking notes for John's book.
We'll be working on the preface then, and yeah.
Chapter book for
right.
kindergartners.
But I'm sure I'll see you at the Vegas race from Pomona. I'm sure you'll be one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, I will cross paths with you over there. I will look for you.
We bring a lot of cars to the track, so you can't miss us. That's
Very good.
So Kelly,
Yep,
if people
okay,
want to
got it.
follow your adventures around the racing universe, where can they find you?
Sure. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. My handle there across the board is Kelly Wade Writes. So at Kelly Wade Writes. I also have Winlight Communications, and winlightnews.com is my website. So you can look for cool stories there throughout the weekend. And then also on social media at Winlight News. So that's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well.
Very cool. Well, Kelly, I appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we didn't scare you too bad, because even though you said you were nervous, I mean, me, him, and him.
It worked
We're-
out.
well. Look, I got one more really important question. Where can everyone buy the book?
Thank you for asking that question. If the best way to get the book is directly through the publisher, go to cartechbooks.com, and then it's right there on the homepage. So like the John Prudhomme book is in the top level as a bestseller, and then we're right below in the new release section. So, but you can definitely, hop on barnesandnoble.com, go to amazon.com. It's all over online, but
Okay.
just, yeah, so even a quick search on Google will definitely populate it. Even if you're out of the country, it's available, Australia and England at Waterstones, and so like all over the place. But cartechbooks.com is the best bet.
We'll have to put a link on. Chris put a link on the page tomorrow or tonight where people can click on it and go buy it.
Absolutely. I
That'd
will
be
do that
awesome.
as
Thank
soon as
you.
we're done.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome, Kelly. Thank you so much for your time and coming on and hanging out
My
with us.
pleasure.
Kelly,
It's been
thank you
fun.
very much.
I'll
Great
send
time.
you a YouTube link later on.
Right on. And then I'm just going to screenshot every weird face I make and then make a collage and put that as my background on Facebook.
I like
Then
it.
when
can't
when
wait.
Jerron writes your book, he could have all those pictures for it.
Yeah, I'll write it. I've always wanted to be a writer. Like,
Oh, gosh.
I got you. I got you. Well,
All right,
thanks.
Kelly.
Thanks.
Have a safe trip.
All right. Well,
from-
thank you guys so
Yeah.
much.
Okay.
and enjoy your Labor Day weekend in Indy.
Thank you all. See you
You're
soon.
welcome. Have a great night. Kelly Wade, everybody, our guest for tonight, the author of Warren Johnson, the Professor. Be sure to check it out on Amazon, on cartech.com, on Barnes and Noble. I'm going to put a link up as soon as we're done. And thank you again, Kelly. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All
Bye-bye.
right.
Bye.
That was awesome. Awesome.
Good stuff. Good job, Chris, getting her
Good
out.
job, gentlemen.
Yeah, because Pete's gonna get a bunch of more offers from like Werner, Home Depot.
Listen, along with not being tall, I'm also not proud. Whoever wants to make me an offer, go right ahead.
Well, Pete, you said you got beat up this weekend at Lebanon Valley.
Oh,
Tell us
God.
about what race was it and what happened?
So
when did you decide to break on the car this week?
So the Northeast Super Street Association that runs up at Lebanon Valley had race number 6 and 7 on the year. It was a Saturday and Sunday race. And I had won race 5, so I had the bounty on me. And if someone came to the track to watch me for the first time this weekend, they would think that race number 5 was rigged. It was that bad. My car ran so bad. And I don't even know what to say. The only thing I can tell you is that when I weekly bracket raced up at Lebanon Valley, 100 years ago, it feels like, one of my very best friends used to come with me every weekend religiously for probably the better part of 4 or 5 years. When he turned, I think he was like 18, 19 years old, he enlisted in the Marines and has not been back to the racetrack or racing with me until this past weekend. He retired from the Marines. He drove all the way up from North Carolina, and he hung out with me and my wife and spent the weekend with us. And to be completely honest with you, I could have scattered my motor all over the track and I wouldn't have cared. We had a great time, and it was great seeing him. But that was definitely the highlight of the weekend because the car was awful.
I thought you were going to say he was your bad luck charm and you re-enlisted him into the Marines.
Yeah, really.
I know you just retired, but you're going back.
Yeah, exactly. So just as a quick recap for the weekend, we had the Dead On Perfect Award that actually rolled over. This was the 4th event. And Al Owens captured that in the second round of the first race when he went a 1090 with a 0. And funny story, he came up to me after he ran that and he put 10 in his delay box and his light was a 10. So if he didn't put that in, theoretically, it would have been a perfect run. So
Pretty well. Yeah.
Drew Wonderly qualified number 1. But unfortunately, that race only got in 2 rounds before the rain came. And again, got to take my hat off to Lebanon Valley. We woke up to rain. I want to say we had 2 rain delays during the day. And they battled and they got in as much racing as they possibly could. Did a hell of a job keeping the track right and safe and keeping us racing. So we moved on to Sunday. And because the race didn't finish, they decided to put the bounty on Al Owens for having the best package. Okay. It could have very easily said, you know what? There was no winner, so no bounty money on this race. But instead of doing that, they put it on him. Another funny story, not funny, but good story. Dominic D'Amico with, I want to say like an 80-ish Malibu. First time racing Super Street. And he came up to me and he said, I'm just going to put 1 second in the throttle stop timer and we'll see what happens. Well, he winds up qualifying number 1 and getting the bye run for the first round. So that was awesome for him. He couldn't have been any more excited. And another good thing is Ray Butler, who won the Sunday show. He's in a borrowed car because he hurt his motor pretty bad. And the Bill Arpine is letting Ray drive his car, and he's basically been driving it all year. And Ray took me out in the first round on Sunday. And when we went over to go congratulate him, his wife said to me, I'm not interested in the championship. I don't care about anything. I really want to get Bill a win for letting us use the car all year. And sure enough, I go home, I look on Facebook, and boom, he got the win. So
Good.
Shawn Nichols in the final. He got the win for the car owner. And it was a great weekend. I mean, again, Lebanon Valley pulled in over 300 cars for their Sunday bracket racing program.
Wow.
It's just
So how many cars typically run the Nesta series?
I believe we were a little light this weekend, and I was a little surprised. It could be the fact that Maple Grove was going on.
Yeah.
But usually on a double weekend, it's pretty good. In race 5, when I ran, I want to say we had 17 or 18 cars. This weekend was a little light. It was only about 14 or 15 for both days.
Well, that brings me to a better question. Why weren't you at Maple Grove? What's that about?
I wasn't at Maple Grove because school started.
Oh,
One of the reasons why I like this series so much is because even while school's in, Friday night after school, we could hop in the RV, go up. We race Saturday and Sunday. And my typical early exit usually gets us home on the couch by like 3 in the afternoon. So it's a win-win.
So let me ask you, are you done with Lucas Oil and NHRA this year because of school?
No. Well, yeah, whenever school's in, I'm done.
Okay.
Depending on how the year goes, with COVID and all the stuff that happened last year, we get 3 personal days a year. They really don't like us using any of our sick time for obvious reasons because we get so much time off.
Sure.
But they do give us 3 personal days. And because I didn't use any days for PRI last year because they didn't have it, I was able to use some in the beginning of the year to go to events.
Okay.
So it really depends on how the year goes and how many days I have left as to what races I'll go to while school's in session. But
Sure.
for the most part, I really try and pack them in the 2 months that I'm not in school.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
So what's your schedule like for the rest of the year, Gerard?
Crazy. I'm gonna run this weekend 2 10s at Bradenton, and then on Saturday and Sunday, and then on Wednesday I'll fly to Phoenix to run the double division out there in Super Comp for D7, and then off for about 3 weeks, and then double divisional Phoenix, a divisional and open in Tucson, national event in Las Vegas, divisional the very next weekend in Vegas, and then Pomona the very next weekend. So I think we got about 4 weekends in a row of a lot of like October, from the second week of October until the second week of November, it's every weekend.
Well, I got to tell you, as you're telling me the schedule, I had a feeling coming over me, a premonition. You're going to win one of these races.
I'm gonna give it a good shot.
I'm telling you, you mark my words. When the dust settles, we're going to be doing a Geron Settles interview right here on Racing News Network. We might have Kelly come on and interview you.
Yeah.
And you're going to knock down a win this year. I'm telling you, I can feel it.
I appreciate that. I definitely I've been just had no luck, but driving good, so it's got to turn soon. So
It's going to. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Gerard, with you having essentially 3 weeks on the West Coast, will you just stay out there or will you hop back and forth?
No, well, okay, so I do have to come back one time because my son's birthday is October 28th. It's going to be a deal where I'll probably miss the first time run at the National. His birthday's Thursday the 28th. So I'll come home for his birthday and then I'll catch a flight back early Friday morning. Like I said, miss the one-time run and then get the second one and then go to first round. So, but after that, I'll stay. I'll go straight from Vegas. Well, I'll stay for SEMA is after the national event on the 30th. SEMA is that week. We'll go to SEMA Monday or Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the divisional is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then a couple of days off, and then Wednesday we'll head to Pomona. We'll just drive straight there. So, but I'll do a little bit of back and forth.
Now, the airport in Vegas isn't far from the track anyways, is it?
No, there's nothing's far in Vegas. It may take
Right,
you a long
right.
time to get there, but it's not far. Like you can literally see the track from the strip, but it'll probably take you 45 minutes to get there, but it's nothing's far.
Now, when you're spending that amount of time out there, I assume that you're going to line up some work for your Vegas location to do that in between, right?
Yeah, so I've already lined up 2 cars to paint out there while I'm there during the week, basically. And then I've got a good number of helmets to do when I get there also. So yeah, one car is actually already at the shop right now, waiting for me to get there in October.
This
Excellent.
may be kind of a goofy question, but everything to do with flying now. Do you ever get a hard time taking any of your equipment with you if you do?
I don't take anything. So
Okay.
basically, I have everything I need at each shop. I have 5 or 6 guns and 3 airbrush here in Florida. I have 4 guns and 2 airbrushes in Vegas, and brushes the same way. I've got all my pinstriping and outliners and stuff here. I have it set out there. So it's funny you say that, because before I started having them put, I did kind of travel back and forth, or times that I traveled to other places to paint. And yeah, I have so many of those little slips of the TSA check my luggage. I got a stack of them like this, because
Well,
they
the
literally pop up.
last time you carried equipment with you was probably when you came up and painted my car.
Yeah, probably so. Yep.
Right?
Yep. And I got a slip when I got both ways.
Well,
Yeah.
that's because I paid for your ticket on Spirit Airlines.
Oh god.
We started to slow down. You had to get out and move the wing up and down.
Start flapping it.
When you fly Spirit, like the last time I flew them, they handed me these 2 red sticks. I'm like, what's this for? It's like, well, you got to help us back out.
That's
And then once we back out, run around and hop in. I'm like, geez. So yeah, it's Spirit is not my favorite airline. I real quick funny story. When I came back here, I went home for a few days 2 weeks ago, and I came back. I was waiting on my Uber or whatever, and there's 4 Spirit flight attendants and a pilot, or whatever, sitting waiting for a ride too. And I was like, man, y'all are way too pretty to work for Spirit. And they all start laughing, and the captain was like, well, what's that mean? I was like, they know. And I got in my car.
You guys are going to have a good conversation on the way to the airport. I'll see you later.
Exactly. Because I wouldn't let you drive me to Florida, more or less fly me.
Yeah.
Freaking dinky freaking airlines. They got, if you've never flown Spirit, and I guess I'm probably messing up, because I might get a Spirit sponsorship one day.
I was going to say, how funny would it be if you see Gerard next week?
Yeah. We have 2 flight attendants that are watching the show right now going, oh, aren't you the smart ass that was trashing us a couple weeks ago on that show on the computer?
Oh God.
Go sit back there.
Spirit literally have jazz racing seats in the airplane with no cushioning. They're like, that's a jazz racing seat. Like, what? It's just hard plastic. There's no cushioning. I have horror stories. So the last time I flew Spirit, just real quick, I'll just do real quick. We flew down to Florida to take the family for a vacation, go to Disney. And I've flown, somebody booked me on a Spirit flight, and I didn't have any luggage. I flew somewhere for a photo shoot, and I came back. I was like, wow, that's pretty cheap. That's pretty cool. I'll use Spirit for everything, sucker. So I bought my tickets. I literally bought 5 tickets round trip to Orlando from Maryland, and it was like $200. I'm like, I'm flying Spirit everywhere. So we get to the freaking counter to check in, and we got 6 or 7 pieces of luggage. And the guy's like, yeah, that'll be $812 for your luggage. I'm like, what? The tickets weren't even that much, but that's the small print. You got to buy your luggage ahead of time. So then they delay our flight 4 hours, get there, on the way back, we go to check in, and there's all these people mad, and they're like, "What's going on?" Well, they canceled our flight. So they put us on another flight to go home. So first, First, they're like, "Well, don't worry, we're gonna put you on another flight." I'm like, all right, it's Sunday at 12 o'clock. They're like, "Give me the tickets." They're like, "This is Thursday at 2:30." They're like, "Yeah, it's Orlando. You can find something to do." I'm like, "It's Sunday. What? So that was giving me a flight for Thursday. So argued with them. They got us on a flight to go home that night. We had to go from Orlando to Houston, Minnesota, Chicago, DC, and we were parked at Baltimore.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
Yeah, we got home we left Orlando at like 3 o'clock. We got home at 5 in the morning. That was bad. And it's a 2-hour flight.
3 days later, you got home, yeah.
So
Wow.
basically, I vowed I would never fly Spirit ever again. Unless they want to sponsor me in an alcohol dragster. That's how people call it. Best airline ever.
Best airline ever.
But actually, I'm an American guy, so all the American execs listen out there, I fly strictly American Airlines, priority gold, first class.
Except for that one time that he bought 8 tickets for $200.
And when you put me on freaking Southwest or something, and the same thing, I had to help them back out. I got out there and they handed me a tire gauge. They're like, "Check the freaking tires before you get on the flight." I'm like, "What the heck?"
You can never be too safe.
Yeah, I know. I got the ticket, it said Z47. I'm like, so I pretty much sat in between the pilot and the co-pilot on a pillow.
Well, there you go. So you learn how to fly a plane.
Hey, you can play with the throttles.
That's right.
Yeah, the guy kept
He started giving it back. He got used to the jet engines.
The pilot kept slapping my hand. He's like, "You're gonna give it back. Get out of here."
That's right. Beat it, will you?
Yeah.
Go back in the cheap seats.
Yeah, well, with Southwest for an extra what, 35 or $50, whatever it is, you can buy the advanced seating.
Yeah, the early bird. Yeah. Southwest owes me like $80 right now because I bought the early bird. They canceled my flight, and they're like, "Yeah, you don't get that back if we cancel the flight." What?
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, screw Southwest. American Airlines, baby.
All right.
I picked my seat.
Well, that's your traveling tip from the Flying Airbrush.
From the flying airbrush. It's
Chris,
hard.
take it away.
Contact Jerron Settles on Facebook if you need to be booked on a flight to PRI.
That's right.
I can tell you, if you fly more than me, God bless you, because I'm telling you, I'm about sick of flying. I have crisscrossed the country this year like 14 times already, maybe more than that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even sleep anymore because my time zones are all messed up.
That's why he works from 3 in the afternoon till 6, 7 the next morning.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I thought he was going to say 3 in the afternoon till like 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
That's gonna be nice.
I put in 4 hours like nobody's business.
What's funny is that I got here today at literally at 8:25 today. I was pretty happy about that. But I can tell you, I am sleepy. Sheesh. Whew. I see why you go to sleep so early, Pete.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know. Screw that.
I was in the shower at 5 o'clock
9:20
this
is
morning.
past his bedtime.
Yeah. I didn't even know there was 2 6s in the day until I went and stayed with Pete that one time. Like, there's 2 6s? I've only ever seen 2
Sure.
But did he make you sleep in the RV next to the shop? That's the question.
No, I love sleeping in the RV at the house.
Yeah, it was at the house. I broke my foot off in the shower, but
It didn't affect his painting performance, so I really didn't care.
nah. His wife is never gonna let me stay with them ever again because I'm sure she was cleaning blood off the sheets for 2 weeks. But
Well, good thing she's a nurse and knows how to deal with it.
There you go.
he wouldn't even let her look at my foot. I'm like, my toe. I literally walked in with my big toe in my hand. He's like, we gotta go paint this car.
That's right. Yeah. Put 2 socks on. Shut up.
Brake clean and super glue.
That's it.
It's still. I don't want to say that, but it was pretty bad. Like I woke up like, why is my foot wet? I was like, oh crap, his wife's gonna kick my My butt,
Yeah.
the whole bottom of the bed. So, I'm a roller at night, so I roll. It's like a trail of blood this way. Trail
You
Sorry
can
for
get away with that. Me, not so much.
Yeah,
All right, guys. Well, I'm
privilege.
sure everyone is tired of hearing us talking about absolutely nothing productive.
I'm sure.
Yep. All right. Well,
So-
thank you to Kelly Wade for coming on and hanging out with us. That was an awesome conversation. I'm going to put a link up to the book. Be sure to check it out. Check out her page. I'll also put a link up for that. U.S. Nationals coming up this weekend. They're parking now, or actually, they're probably done parking for today now. Everybody just do this to keep the rain away so they are going to be racing in Indy for another 3.5 weeks to try and get it in.
And I want to say good luck to my teammate Cody Weber, who's a blocker for Division 7 in the Jegs All-Stars and top dragster.
And also obviously everybody from our home division, well, me and Pete's home division, Division 1, good luck this weekend at the All-Stars.
Division
And again, what?
Yeah, the division that you're in, the one you live in.
The one I live in, yeah, the one yeah.
My number still starts with a 1, but I claimed 7, so I'm sorry.
Well,
But
you can't claim Hawaii anymore because they don't want any more tourists right now. So
yeah, I know. I think they're like Division 8 anyway, so we don't want to.
Yeah.
But
all right,
yeah.
guys, we are out of here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, checking us out live. We'll be back next Monday. I think we're going to do some points after we do 2.5 hours of results from everything at Indy. So,
All right. Can't wait. We will see you guys next week.
You got it.
Monday night, 7:00, same bat time, same bat channel.
Have a good week, everybody.
You ain't got
Be
to go,
good. If you're
you ain't-
racing, stay safe and good luck.
you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. Peace.
Have a great night, everybody. Take care if you're racing this weekend. If you are traveling from the southern states, best of luck, stay safe, and good luck in Indy, everybody.